Just roll the intro music. Play the intro music.
Do you wanna dance?
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Mekel Kasanova coming at you with yet another video, and I just beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Okay, I finally beat it, got the Master Sword, got the Hylian Shield, and I have to say this is hands down the greatest game I have ever in my life played. Yes, you are hearing a dryer and laundry going because I'm recording this in my bathroom because it's the quietest room in my house. I don't give a fuck. This game, awesome. You need to play it. Don't know what that sound is. Don't worry about it. I put over 100 hours into this game, and I haven't done that in a long time. Like, literally. This game is that amazing. So, yeah. Before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that way you can stay tuned to all the latest and greatest content, as well as check out my Patreon channel if you want to help the channel with donations to growing and just about anything. If you want to see specific content on this channel, then definitely hit me up on Patreon and help out if you want to. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Steel Toro, his channel 10s. I was the winner yesterday for the episode 10s. I am the winner for the second show, going on to go up against DVZN Media. You're going down, but I'm calling you out. You ain't ready. I think I should have learned my lesson talking shit already. But if you guys watched the Twitch stream of me versus Steel Toro, I got my ass handed to me. Yes, Steel, I bow to you. You're the greatest, okay? I will never challenge you in Madden again. However, Street Fighter, you're not ready, son. I don't think anyone can take me to Street Fighter. Anyway, that's enough of the plugs. If you guys want to know, I'm part of a collective group called Polytech, so we talk about just about everything. We're a group of friends and decided, hey, why not be a collective? And if you want, all the links to everyone's channels in the description below. So let's go ahead and get right into this review of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Why you need to cop this. Welcome to another episode of Cop or Not. It's really hard to do a review for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild without going into spoiler territory. However, I will say this. This game is so massive, it's such a time sink, that no matter how you play it, no two people will ever have the same experience. Now, let's go ahead and get on with this review. And in truth, it's been many moons since we've had a proper new Legend of Zelda entry. And while yes, we did get Triforce Heroes on the 3DS, that is not something I would even consider as a mainline entry to this historic franchise. That honor goes to the last two titles, A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS and Skyward Sword for the Wii. Since those titles, we've gotten remakes, but nothing especially new in the series other than Triforce Heroes and Hyrule Warriors and Hyrule Warriors Legends. So the craving for a new entry has definitely been there. As great as the series has been, it has always tried to copy the success of its two most storied entries, which are A Link to the Past for the SNES and Ocarina of Time for the N64. As both have set the standard and bar for the series and have rarely, if even, been surpassed by any of the following entries. What's usual is that you start off in some small village of some sort and go through an introductory tutorial. The funny thing about Breath of the Wild, though, is it does away with that almost entirely. You are thrust into the vast open world and basically have to figure out where to go and what to do. The levels of freedom from the start are unparalleled by any Zelda game by far, and honestly by any open world game it's been made, save for maybe moral. But we can discuss and debate that. The core mechanics of the game will come across as second nature to anyone who's played a Zelda game in the past. One of the newest facets of this entry that I love is the ability to approach any dungeon in any order, no matter what items you may or may not have acquired, and unlike previous entries, puzzles within the dungeons are not regulated to any specific item you get from said dungeon, and are instead split between runes and your base weapons. Runes are basically a group of abilities tied to the Sheikah Slate, which is a small tablet-like device that Link discovers not long after awakening in the beginning of the game. And I can't go beyond that without spoiling the game. You heard me, or you're about to hear me correctly, when I say that there is no right way, none, to approach this game. You are truly free to go about this however you see fit. The game will let you know where to go for plot purposes, but this is purely up to you. If you choose to go about it that way, to drive this point home even more, let's take for instance my friend and fellow YouTuber Alpha Rakama of Rakama Tech, my friend and YouTuber Cameron, and my wife Lehua, whom is also playing this game. Now we're all at the same time playing, and I'll give you this example. The beginning of the game where you are at the Great Plateau. We each approach the game's introductory level in 4 completely different ways. So, Alpha approached the snowy field area by cooking a meal that gave him resistance to the cold, which can deplete your health. Cameron approached the area by taking the torch and lighting it, and ran through the area and which kept him from taking damage. Lehua approached the area by eventually meeting the old man, who gave her clothes to stay warm and prevent damage from the cold weather. And by contrast, I approached the situation by purely running through the cold and stopping only to fight or heal myself from the damage of the cold. Again, every player will have a different experience and different way of solving the vast puzzles present in the game. The game will point you in a specific direction to follow the main quests, but you can completely ignore that, as my wife does, and strike off wherever you like on the map. Now let's talk about the map. It's broken into 15 main areas, counting the initial plateau. So each of these areas, which is uncharted until you scale the tower at its center, clearly someone at Nintendo's been paying attention to how Ubisoft does their open world titles like Assassin's Creed, for example. Over the course of the first 5 hours or so, I managed to visit at least 4 additional areas beyond the initial plateau, though they are far from complete, and I barely did the main story. Simply put, the game and the world both feel absolutely massive, and I strongly believe that Breath of the Wild is up there with Final Fantasy 15 and The Witcher 3 when it comes to massive exploration, and in many ways I feel like it exceeds those two. Now, there's plenty of stuff to do along the way too. So the world is littered with many side quests that you can pick up from any of the NPCs dotted around the world. Then there are the shrines, small dungeons, and thus, which contain either puzzles, platforming challenges, combat trials, and then ultimately they reward you with spirit orbs. They're essentially pieces of hearts, except that once you collect 4, you can trade them in for either a boost to your health, an additional heart, or you can increase your stamina, so when you're climbing, sprinting, swimming, or the like. You can also try and track down hidden Koroks, which are littered around the world. Search for hidden chests and items, complete a variety of mini games and challenges, and that's not even mentioning the expansive cooking system, which, if you want to know more, ask my wife, she can tell you. And that sees you hunting and foraging for ingredients, which can be combined to make meals, elixirs, to restore health, and more. provide, you know, a couple buffs and stat effects here and there. Now let's go ahead and talk about the weapons of this game. No longer are you regulated to merely 1 or 2 swords as before. You get the Master Sword. But now you're able to use a wide variety of weapons such as spears, sledgehammers, forks, wands, and more, of which you can swap out in a moment's notice, and you're also able to throw any weapon you're holding if you so choose. The weapons that you do have durability meters and ratings, so you have to keep that in mind when you use them, as they can and they will break after repeated use. You know what? I'm going to take a few moments back. Just take a moment. And I'm going to just say how beautiful this game truly is. Regardless of how the media and current generations of gamers focus on graphics and the resolutions that they want to push to 1440 or 4K, this game looks stunningly gorgeous both in 720p portable mode and 1080p docked mode. This game is beautiful, and it's a real treat to see Hyrule brought into the world of HD. The landscape is awash with color during the day, and foreboding and ominous by night. Blood Moon. I'm not gonna say more than that. In my playtime, I've seen lush forests, frozen mountaintops, sparse fields, and I'm sure there's more on the horizon that I need to discover. Hyrule is packed with animals and enemies that are brought to life with fluid, vivid animations, and that's if you can tear your eyes away from the landscape. You know, I've had a couple occasions, you know, where the frame rate does stutter, and when using visually complex runes like the Magnesius. But otherwise, you know, performance is smooth, be it docked or handheld. As for controls, my wife and I have tried it with both the Joy-Con and Pro Controller, and we much prefer the latter. It's a more comfortable size, while the Joy-Con button configuration feels slightly squished in a game like this. There's also a comprehensive map to go along with the huge world, which allows you to set a load of different stamps and markers to help you remember enemies, chests, shrines, secrets, and whatever you'd like to go back to later on. Trying to walk across the map would honestly take you forever. But in good old Zelda tradition, you get yourself a horse to speed things up. But another new asset is the fast traveling system. Now, many of you might say, hey, fast traveling has technically been available since Ocarina of Time with the songs. But this is a sense of fast traveling like you would, say, The Witcher or Skyrim. So this is new. And then getting back to the horses, you'll have to catch a wild horse, you'll have to break it in, and you also have to register it at a table. You can name horses, and you can even keep up to 5 at a time. They each have their own stats and speed, temperaments, kind of like a real horse. And, you know, I have no doubt that there will be some players out there that are devoted to finding the perfect steed. In wrapping us all up, I can't really review much more of the system or basically more of this game without wanting to spoil the territory. So if you're disappointed with how sparse this review is, it is what it is. I don't want to spoil this game. This is something you simply have to experience for yourself. And honestly, after a little over 60 hours with the game, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of Breath of the Wild. I haven't even reached the 3rd dungeon yet. My wife and I loved what we've played so far, though, which borrows the best of modern open world games and it pairs it with the inimitable Zelda polish and feel. It's not more the same. And if you feel like this is just another Zelda game, you're doing yourself a huge disservice by not giving this a try. We can't wait to get back into Hyrule, and my wife and I think we'll be there for quite a long time.
And it
that just about wraps up this video review of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Why I think it's amazing, why you need to play it, why I really can't go into a whole lot of details about the game without spoiling the plot, and I don't want to do that because it's something that I truly believe that everyone needs to experience. It's not a game that I can just easily talk about and say, hey, this is great, it's got this feature, it's got this, it's got that, because if I do that, then I'm going to be ruining the story, okay? And the story, the gameplay mechanics, the weapons, everything intricately ties into each other one by one. So I don't want to ruin that. So if anything, if this video is not enough to convince you, then I'll include the trailer to the game at the end of the video. And then, well, actually probably the whole video has the trailer because Nintendo copyright. But that is what it is. And just so you guys know, there will be another Nintendo Switch giveaway going on in April. So if you guys want, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share it, let people know, and I'll get back to you guys with more details on the giveaway. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check me out on Patreon. And as always, thank you for watching. Deuces. Buy this. I'm out.
Everybody drinks on me. Everybody in this bitch drink for free. Give me a whiskey double. A little bit of Jack is always trouble. And I'm feeling good, like the man with only need to prove and read this wood. Next up, straight to the DJ. Tell him play whatever songs that she say. Her body is a misdemeanor. Dangerous, but I want this meaner.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of the Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
Tells me that you have no recollection of me, however.
I think you are now ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Everything I've done up until now, it was all for nothing.
Here it comes! You must save her, my daughter.
Open your eyes.